Hello, I'm going to be teaching you how to reduce sodium in your diet with some simple tips and tricks. So before we start, we're going to start off with a pre-assessment quiz. Feel free to pause and write down your answers. We will go over them in a second. So for number 1, it's A, 2,300 milligrams. And for number 2, it's false. Most Americans do not consume a healthy amount of sodium per day. So before we go over how to reduce sodium in our diet, let's go over the risk of eating too much sodium. So when we eat too much, our kidneys are trying to process that excess sodium in our body by holding on to excess water, and this will eventually increase blood pressure, leading to heart problems. The most common side effects from a high sodium diet are hypertension, stroke, heart attack, kidney disease, and osteoporosis. According to the CDC, those with pre-hypertension and hypertension should decrease their intake to 1,500 milligrams per day. It is also important to be familiar with some common foods high in sodium, such as pizza, cheeseburgers, canned soup, cottage cheese, instant food like instant noodles, cured meat, frozen meals, and pasta sauce.
The Guidelines for Healthy Americans 2015 to 2020 states that our sodium intake should be limited to 2,300 milligrams or 1 teaspoon of salt. Did you know that the average American consumes about 3,400 milligrams of sodium? That's about 50% more of what we should be consuming.
Being able to read a nutrition label is important to maintain sodium levels. Sodium content is usually located between cholesterol and total carbohydrate. It'll also show the daily value, which is the amount of sodium in the food in relation to the portion of what we should be consuming in total of sodium. It is usually a rule of thumb to aim for about 140 milligrams or less in a single serving of food.
Here are some salt substitutes that you can add to your food when you're cooking at home. Citrus, such as lime and lemon juice, garlic, cilantro, and other herbs such as sage, rosemary, mint, and thyme, as well as other dried herbs. Another great way to substitute salt is to use spices. Use spices such as paprika, cardamom, cumin, allspice, red pepper flakes, granulated onion, cayenne pepper, sesame seeds, garam masala, turmeric, and cinnamon.
A simple tip when we eat out is to share a meal high in sodium with a family member or a friend. You can also ask for no salt to be added to your dish. Now that I have discussed the risk of eating too much sodium and how to lower sodium in your diet, let's go over assessment to see what you know. Feel free to pause whenever to write down your answers. As I mentioned in the beginning of the lesson, here are 3 complications of eating too much sodium, as well as 5 foods that are high in sodium. For number 3, the label on the left will have a lower sodium content, as is a lower number. For number 4, 2 ways that you can lower salt should be adding herbs or spices, or asking for no salt, or sharing a meal when you go out. Thank you for watching and participating. I hope you now know more ways to reduce your sodium and to have a healthier, balanced diet.